Welcome to the Highest Resolution. My name is Daniel Davis. Got a very special guest today. I got photographer and videographer Jerel Hunter. I've known him for about 2 years, probably a little over 2 years now, and he has actually been a mentor in my life when it comes to videography, teaching me all the ropes and giving me different opportunities to grow my skills. So thank you for coming on. First of all, how you doing?
Thank you for having me, first of all, and I'm doing great. It's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, doing well,
I
doing well.
appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. So, from what I know a little bit about like how you got started, but from what I know, you initially wanted to go into graphic design. That's what you went to school for, right?
That's correct. I was initially a graphic design student over at Wake Tech.
Mm,
Took many graphic design courses, and I don't want to go too far ahead, but
yeah.
yes.
What made you kind of like stray from that and get into like photography and videography?
Well, I guess I need to rewind a little bit. So before I even got to college, in high school, I was very much into art. Used to draw all the time. Every year in high school, I took some sort of drawing class, or art class.
Mm,
Then in college, like you mentioned, I learned graphic design. But I realized that really wasn't my passion. Like I had a knack for it, or something I was gifted at,
yeah.
but it wasn't really fulfilling.
Mm,
But while in college, I took a photography course, and I really enjoyed it. Didn't couldn't afford a camera at the time.
yeah.
That came much later on. But what really got me started, as far as like being an entrepreneur and wanting to develop this passion or cultivate this gift of mine, is when I started serving at a church.
Mm,
I started serving as a photographer. I did that a little bit, and I learned within serving as a photographer, the church had a need for a filmmaker.
mm,
So I was like, why not? I've done a couple of videos, music videos for the
yeah.
homies back in the day.
Yeah.
So I was like, I did it before, I did it a couple times, I liked it, so why not? Let me give it a try.
Mm,
I ended up really enjoying the whole process of shooting, editing, lighting. It's like a whole different world, right?
mm,
The different elements and different realms of production and filmmaking and all that other stuff.
mm.
So I enjoyed that, and I like the fact that I can tie together both photography and filmmaking. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
started, yeah.
absolutely. So it was like, was it simultaneous with photography and videography, or it was one you leaned on more heavier than the other?
So I learned photography first
Hmm.
in school, but I actually did a lot more of the videography and the filmmaking
Yeah.
in the field
Hmm.
because, as I mentioned, that was the need of the church where I was serving.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of stuff as far as videography is concerned. I think my very first shoot, I forgot the name of the actual like role, but I was just the guy holding like the boom mic.
Yeah.
I was just holding that mic
Yeah.
for like 8 hours, man. It was exhausting, but
Hmm.
it teaches you an important element of film, which is audio, right?
Yeah.
So so yeah, I definitely did a lot more videography
Yeah.
as opposed to photography, but I'm glad to this day I can kind of use them both. They work hand in hand together. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. Got you. And so, from where I've known you, you've really taken on, since being at the church, you've kind of really taken on a role of anyone that comes into the church and they're interested in photography or videography. You've always been like, hey, like, I got some shoots, you want to come? You know what I'm saying? And if, they can even get paid if they do a decent job at it. So, because you were like so open about giving other people opportunities, who was that for you that made you want to do that? Like, who was the person that gave you opportunities and you were like, well, I got to do this for other people too?
And the person that gave me plenty of opportunities, his name was Mark Camel.
Hmm.
He, oh man, I definitely would not be where I am today without Mark.
Hmm.
He gave me like the biggest helping hand. I remember when I first started serving at the church, like this dude would like buy me lunch every day. Like I
Hmm.
had no money. Like I was in a serious financial like what's the word I'm looking for? It was just all
Drought,
bad.
yeah.
It was terrible. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So like I said, I started serving. He would buy my lunch. He would take me to all these different shoots, teach me different things, and it was like he just poured into me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I never necessarily asked for it, but I was grateful for it at the same time. So yeah, where would I be? He gave me a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
Took the time to teach me things that nobody else would take the time to teach me, even if I had asked them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, Mark Hamill, he's that guy. Still one of like the in my mind one of the biggest filmmakers in the area
Yeah.
to this day. So shout out to Mark, and
Yeah.
I'm so grateful.
Yeah, that's dope. I think it's because I talked to Josh about this, where like we're kind of in a unique space where it's like if you don't have people to kind of show you the ropes, you'll stumble a lot more than you would have to. Because like not everyone is able to go to filmmaking school. Not everybody has like a community around them where they can learn stuff from. So to like extend like a helping hand out to someone behind you was like really great because you're paying it forward. And I've really learned it's honestly enough work out here for everybody. It's not like a shortage of like opportunities out here. So yeah, I think that's dope. Shout out to Mark.
Yeah.
So
And if I may piggyback off
go
of that
ahead, yeah.
too, so shortly after Mark left the church that I was, the one that I am currently working at, I became the lead filmmaker, and I got to a point where I was just like, well, now I'm teaching people and things of that nature, but I still need to grow. I still need my skills to be cultivated. So I didn't know where to go. So I actually met a gentleman by the name of Alex Schmidt at another church
Yeah.
in the community. So we met. We just had lunch one day, and he was just like, "Dude, if you want to learn more about filmmaking, like I can teach you." So I used to meet with him every single Wednesday over at the other church, and sometimes we would like go have lunch. But he really took me underneath his wing as well after Mark had gone and Mark had moved. And the interesting thing about that is he really got nothing from it. Like with Mark, like he was teaching the next person up, so I was able to fill Mark's shoes. But Alex, like he just poured into me just because like he's a man of God, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, and he man, he's also one of those guys I just can't repay him for what he's done.
Yeah.
He's helped me come a long way. He like broke down like coloring, color profiles, and all this other stuff. Like he broke down for me like the intimate details of editing and things that nobody would
Yeah.
really think about. Like he showed all that to me, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's super dope for him to take such a like a large investment in someone and just be like, yeah, like I'm just paying it forward pretty much because I think it's I don't I've like consulted for someone, so I don't fault anyone for like making money doing that, but I think it's still nice to in certain scenarios picking like I'm actually going to invest in this person just because, not because I'm necessarily like trying to make a profit out of it. So I think that's great. So how have you grown like being at the church? Like how has that influenced like your skills in photography and videography? How has that like grown you?
How's it grown me? I feel like I look at every day as an opportunity, right? If it's not an opportunity to grow yourself, it's an opportunity to help somebody else grow. And in turn, I feel like if you can take the time to pour into somebody or teach somebody, that would actually help you to grow just to be a better person. So I think to come back to your original question, I think I've grown patience. I've learned to deal with this different personalities. Not everybody, though we can have the same overall mindset. Everybody's personality is different. Everybody's needs are different. How everyone learn, how people learn is very different. You know, from one person to the next.
Yeah.
So I think it just helped me with my interactions. Helped me with my professionalism. It helped me just to understand and be able to love people differently, to be able to teach people in the way that they need to be taught, not in the way that I know how to teach,
Right.
but how they need to be taught.
Yeah.
So I think there's so many ways that I feel like I've grown since I've been there. This year, I've been in this position at the church since 2016. So it's been a long time.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's so many ways I've grown since being there. Like I can't even list them all, but those are a few of the ways.
Yeah. Yeah. It's dope. Yeah. I think it's one thing I find interesting is like we know it's a bunch of like Christian like creatives and everything in the space, but I think to the outside world, they're not thinking like, man, where are you finding some of the most talented and gifted people in media? The last place I think most people would think is like, man, we need to. Most people would probably think, let's go to like this music festival or something like that, or let's go to this, art gallery, see if they know some photographers. But it's like a lot of the gifted people are actually like at the church.
Absolutely.
So it's I think that's really great that like, hey, like we actually redefine in a way what it means to be like talented and gifted and still like, having like your faith. So yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah.
So you've been in this since you've been in at World Overcomers since 2016.
Yep.
But as far as your overall like photography journey and videography, when did you start that initially?
Whew, great question. Our days run together, right? So it's
Yeah.
like days running together, weeks running together, months and years running together. I want to say if I graduated high school in 2009, I want to say like maybe 2013
13. Yeah.
is when I really 2013, 2014 is when I really discovered my love for photography.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's when it started. I actually remember my first job
Yeah.
is when one of my friends, his girlfriend was graduating, and she asked me to take her graduation pictures, which I still have to this day.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was so proud of those pictures.
Yeah.
And that's how I got my start. I
Yeah.
posted those pictures on Facebook, and then from there, people would inquire about me doing different things. And I actually still got graphic design inquiries after that. So
Yeah.
it's something I don't advertise that I do to this day, but I still kind of do it. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you ever look back on the early stuff and like you cringe a little bit just because it's what you knew at the time, but you've been in it like nearly 10 years now. So like, is it like you look back at it and you're like, or do you appreciate where you were then?
Man, I have a mixture of projects. Some that I look back on and I definitely it's just like cringeworthy. I'm just like, oh my god, I can't
Yeah.
believe I did this. What was I thinking? But then there's also things I look back on and I'm like, oh, you know what? This was pretty cool. Like I
Yeah.
can't believe I did this.
Yeah.
Like, and I think it's good to remind yourself where you came from and where you are now, but also look back at the things that you are most proud of.
Yeah.
So sometimes we forget we kind of forget our core. I'm glad you kind of asked like what got me started because
Yeah.
it's not something I think about every day, but it's good to be reminded. So with that, I like to look back at the projects that I've done in the past, and some I'm proud of, some I'm not proud of.
Yeah.
So it's just good to have a reminder either way.
Yeah. That's dope. What would you say what fuels you like creatively? Like I know for me, like music, I can listen to a song and I can think of like a video, a vision or something I can create from it just off a song. So like, is there a particular thing that inspires you, or do you feel like you pull inspiration from everywhere?
I feel like I pull inspiration from a lot of random places.
Yeah.
For example, I was doing a shoot a couple weeks ago at this place. I couldn't even tell you the name of the place. It was a hole in the wall. It was a nice place inside, but it looked like trash outside.
Yeah.
But anyway, across the street from this venue, there was a mural, and it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. So I literally, there's like a whole party going on behind me, and I'm just standing at the door, just looking at the mural, and I'm like, you know what? I want to create something like this. Like this can be something so much bigger than a wall. I don't know who painted that, who created it, but it was beautiful. But to kind of answer your question, I feel like I get my creative ideas from other creatives. Not to say I steal them, but there might be something just like that mural, and I'm like, you know what, I want to create something like that.
Yeah.
Put my own little touch on it though. So I get creative ideas in the gym. It's like the places where I don't have like a pen and paper, like the
Yeah.
gym, shower, car. That's where I get the most creative ideas,
Right.
right? And sometimes it's just out of nowhere. But like I said, sometimes I see something and I'm just like, I like that.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can recreate that, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, those creativity does flow from everywhere.
Yeah. It seems like when you were saying it, it's like sometimes you have to step out of what can I think of to be creative, like, and get out of that, and then allow it more so to come to you than you trying to like force the inspiration to kind of happen to you.
Absolutely.
Cause yeah, I can attest to that. Like I went for a run and I came back, I was like, I should do this. That would be cool looking. That would be dope.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah, for sure.
How much has like collaborating with other creatives and other people helped you grow like skill wise, but also like in your career? Has that been like a big helpful thing to like collaborate with new people?
Man, collaboration is such a big thing to me actually because people have their strengths and weaknesses, right? So it's like I'm big on community. I'm big on partnership. I'm big on just having a team mentality, right? So, for example, there's one creative that I work with. Um, he is like the most creative person to me. He has a very unique style. It's very urban, and I can tell most of his creativity comes from like the hip hop community and things of that nature.
Yeah.
However, when it comes to like corporate things, I'm like, that's not where,
Right.
that's kind of his
Yeah.
weakness. But I excel when it comes to corporate styles and things of that nature. Um, so to answer your question, I think collaborations are very important from project to project.
Yeah.
You never know how people will see things. Perspective can be a beautiful thing when it comes to the creative community. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? One person can see things one way, another person can see it another way. So you combine those ideas and create something beautiful, right? So yeah, I love the opportunity to collaborate anytime I can.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting what you said about him being like strong in one area but not necessarily the other. Do you feel like you have picked like a certain niche that you operate best in, or are you open to everything pretty much like all the time?
I'm definitely open to all things. However, I am not gonna pretend like I'm good at everything, and I know that I'm not. So, for example, somebody came up to me last week in the gym. He was like, "Hey, man, I heard you talking to this person. I'm a rapper. I'm looking for somebody to shoot a music video." I was like, "Okay, I can do it, but I have a partner who I think would be a better suit for you." So I think I know when to take something on, but also I know when to pass something along to the
Yeah.
next person. And like I said, every scenario is different.
Yeah.
But I'm not afraid to take on anything new. That's how we learn, right? We gotta get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely not afraid to take on any new things.
Yeah, I think that's good because I like Bree asked me to like take some headshots for her, and I was like, "Let me see what you're gonna get from me before I take the photos of you." Like, photography is not like my first thing. It's just like a secondary thing that if you really need something done, I can get it done, but it ain't gonna be like the best. So I think it's great that you're open to trying everything, but at the same time, you're aware that I'm not necessarily the best of the best at everything.
Right.
Because no one is going to be the best of the best at everything. You really just got to like learn your strengths and lean into those.
Right.
And that's what people are going to. And I think that makes you more passionate about your work when you know, like, yo, I'm great at this certain thing right here. So
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's great.
Thank you.
Recently, you have opened up a studio in Raleigh. Where did the vision come from that? Was this always a vision you wanted to do, or was this something like recently that you had an idea about?
Man, so the studio in Raleigh, first of all, I feel like it was years in the making because prior to opening up that studio in Raleigh, I actually had a studio in Durham, but I never really advertised it because it never got to the point to where I was happy about it, you know. So, long story short, the studio in Durham didn't work out. I was very disappointed about that, but I got the opportunity to open the studio in Raleigh, and I was very happy. It was kind of like a answered prayer. And I was fueled. I was fueled because I had a vision for the studio prior. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take this vision, and it's going to be 20 times better than my original vision. So it's something I've always wanted to do because I always wanted to be like a business owner. Mind you, I was a business owner at the time, but the fact of the matter is I like the idea of having a place other people can create. You asked me about collaboration earlier, and I wanted a studio, so creatives of all calibers can come together, whether it's
Yeah.
photographers, filmmakers, podcasters, models, whatever. You know, you can come. You have a place to come, do your thing, create, record, shoot, whatever. So that was my idea, having a place for myself and other people to create.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's really dope because one of the primary problems that me and other people run into is when you're only like a few years into this, you don't really you don't even really know of a lot of places that like offer you a space to create or have the space to create, and B, it's like some of the pricing can be like, are y'all like, like these are prices for like major film companies to come through, and people that are new into it just don't necessarily have the budget for that. So yeah, I think it's great that you open yours up to be able to serve like serve average people, like not everyone has $1 million, film company or whatever. So be able to serve average people, but also provide like a high quality studio. Like the photos and videos that have come out of there have been like incredible. So I think that's really great. But where do you want to open up more studios? What does the future look like for you in your business?
Definitely want to continue to upgrade the studio that I have in Raleigh. I do want to open up more studios and more businesses as well. You know, my first passion has always been art and just all things creativity.
Yeah.
But I'm also like a gamer. So I feel like my next business is going to be like game related, maybe like a
Yeah.
gaming lounge, and maybe who knows, maybe I can just fuse the two somehow. That's something I've been thinking about.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I'm definitely gonna open up more studios in the future. That's the plan. That's what I'm praying on, and I believe it's gonna happen.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
believe it too, man. I believe it too. It's because I mean, I'm sure you reflect back sometimes about like where was I when I started. I'm sure in 2013 you didn't think at all like you would be here. 10 years later, you're probably like amazed at some of the things you've accomplished. So yeah, yeah, man, I think that's incredible. The name of the studio is Filto Films, right? It's named after your business.
Yeah. So Filto Films is an idea I had maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. So I pretty much fused the word photo and film and came up with Filto. I'm not gonna lie, I think I might have just accidentally said the word Filto one day,
Yeah,
trying to say something else. But I thought about it. And I'm like, Filto.
yeah,
I actually Googled it. It came up nowhere on Google. I legitimately researched this word to see if it was like a word that people use, and nobody used the word. So I'm like,
yeah,
I think I could do something with this word.
yeah,
So Filto Films, and I feel like it rolls off the tongue. It's like I grew an appreciation for Filto Films.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So that's where there's no elaborate story as to where it came from, but that's where it came from. My original business is under my name, Jerel Hunter Film and Photography. That's what my LLC is on there. Um, yeah, but yeah, Filto Films. I'm like, it's just so creative.
yeah, yeah.
Why not Filto Films?
Yeah, very original. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's dope. So we're still in January of this year. What does the rest of your year look like? Are there certain like career aspirations you want to like pursue, or certain goals you hope to meet by the end of this year?
For sure. So by the end of this year, man, I'm like very financially driven. So I'm always looking at numbers, looking at how much I made this week, this month, this year. So I'm looking to hit a certain number by the end of the year. I've just been tracking the business year by year. So I'm not gonna say the number, but that's one of my goals. I'm looking to hit a certain number
Yeah,
this
me and
year.
Darren, people might rob you, but
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. I don't want that. So last year was definitely an investment year. Like I bought a lot of equipment last year. Like I didn't pay myself at all last year. But this year I'm probably still not gonna pay myself, but I'm gonna I'm gonna see what I can do this year. I think that's the main goal. Just try to hit a certain number,
yeah,
and then next year I would love to hire some people, probably full time, to help because I need to. It kind of is draining being like the admin, the person in the field,
yeah.
the person taking care of things on both ends. So I'm definitely looking to looking to hire people. If not by the end of this year, that'll be something I'm going to do next year.
Yeah, yeah. There's a point where you gotta like start delegating stuff. Just like I can't hold all of this, and it's more
Right.
beneficial financially for you to focus on certain parts than try to take on everything yourself. I'm assuming.
Right, and that's another beautiful thing about community. I know, Daniel, I hit you up a few times, like, hey, you know,
Yeah,
are you free to do this?
yeah,
You know, so community is beautiful, especially when you have creatives who you can trust to do things. So yeah, you definitely don't want to take on the world by yourself, man.
yeah,
You gotta have a community full of people that can help you win your battles. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So hope you grow, and in turn they'll grow too. So
yeah,
that's the way I look at it.
yeah. I feel you, yeah. Well, man, I think that's about it. But I always want to give everybody an opportunity to plug whatever they have, like services, website, IG handles. What is something that you taking bookings? Like, what's something you'd like to plug?
Yeah, so I can always be reached at my website, which is jerelhunter.com. For studio booking, that's filtofilms.com. That's FILTOFILMS.com. IG is filtofilms. My personal IG is just my name, Jerel Hunter, JerelHunter. So not quite at this moment, but I'm looking to do fitness apparel. Fitness is another passion I'm doing, so you'll see the gym poppy on the IG, as well as some other things that I'm not gonna put out there yet because I still got to do all the legal stuff I need to do with
Right.
that. But I think that's everything. You can catch me on Facebook, Filto Films, the business page. Jerel Hunter is my page on Facebook. YouTube, Filter Films on YouTube. I have random content dropping on YouTube all the time, as well as you can check out some of my gaming streams from time to time. I'm gonna separate that
Yeah.
eventually, but right now, I need my subscribers to build up.
I
So
got you.
subscribe to me on YouTube
Yeah.
at Filter Films. I think that's everything.
That's it.
Yeah.
Cool, man. I appreciate you stopping by once again. The Jerel Hunter, photographer, filmmaker, videographer, workouter, fitness enthusiast. Yeah, even part-time graphic designer still.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. Appreciate you. Thanks again. This is The Highest Resolution.